You are
Kyle,
live.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
welcome everybody to the Stoned on Sports podcast. My name is Matt. We are very happy to be here with you live and in color on this live stream. This is going to be the format we're going to take going forward for the foreseeable future. We'll come on Tuesdays, talk about the week that was in the NFL and a little NCAA football mixed in as well. And then we'll be right back with you on Thursday to talk about the upcoming week. Before we really get rolling, did want to just take a moment and show some love and thank all of you who watch and listen and subscribe. We really appreciate it, as well as our sponsor, Rocky's Pizza of Swartz Creek, Michigan. Brandon's out there slinging pies, giving you the good stuff. Go check it out. They're absolutely delicious.
Yeah,
As always,
go get you a pie and a like a small pulled pork nacho. You'll be very happy.
Take a nice nap afterwards.
Right. Great for a football Sunday.
Absolutely.
As always, I'm joined here by the Spirit Squad, Kyle and Remy. Remy, we would be remiss if we didn't start off today talking about what is the biggest news in sports, and that's the injury to Aaron Rodgers last night. And having seen that close-up replay that Kyle sent over earlier, that was gross.
Yeah,
it was gross. Yeah, it was terrible, and it might be the most Jets thing I've ever seen. Also, so you get 4 plays with one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and he tears his Achilles and maybe is out for the year, but maybe done for his career too. Now, everything I've heard today, by everything I mean the Pat McAfee show, says that he's going to try to rehab and come back next year, but I'm 38. He's got 2 years on me. And I know if I did that, I would just be laying in a ball right now, crying and not even thinking about next year. So I've also heard that it's a fairly routine surgery with a good recovery chance. So if anybody can do it, I'm sure he can. So we'll see what happens.
It's a lot easier to come back from it than, the uncertainty with those is less than an ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough break. It's 4 snaps.
Yeah. And he was running for his life in those 4 snaps. I know he had a handoff to Breece Hall. That was Breece Hall really surprised me last night too. I know we can get into this if we want to, but I was shocked that Breece Hall A had the workload that he did, and B had the explosivity that he did. He looked really good for coming off that ACL injury. But those other 3 snaps, Rodgers was running for his life.
Yeah, it's a shame that happened. The difference there after he got hurt and carted off the sideline to the back, and then the difference in the crowd when they won at the end there, just crazy. It's just, and that's how sports is, man. Fucking up and down within minutes. It's crazy. Yeah.
No profanity in the first 4 minutes.
Yep.
It's the YouTube thing. Yeah. Or at minute 3 and you dropped an F-bomb just like 20 seconds ago.
Correct.
Great. Sorry. Now we're not monetizing this one.
Shoot.
Darn it.
Guess I'll go to work tomorrow.
You can probably hear my cat in the background just fucking crying for some damn reason.
Just let him fly.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean, good Lord. Well,
Breece Hall was great. Only I think he's the only running back that had 2 runs of 20 yards or more. Only guy this week. It looked good. That they're gonna have to rely on him and Cook, because that's what they're fucking doing this year. Running the ball and playing stellar defense.
Yeah.
And you can win that way, but
it looks like the Zach Wilson show is back.
I mean, the rumors are already flying out about Winston, Foles, and Kaepernick's agent reaching out, and Tom Brady's coming back from fucking retirement.
I think Joe Namath said he was available and he just wanted to kiss you, Kyle.
Yeah, we have to feel bad for Garrett Wilson owners too at this point. He did put up decent numbers last year, but not when Zach Wilson was at the controls. It was with Joe Flacco and Mike White. So it's going to be a tough go for them. they gave Brees 11 touches last night, though. Dalvin had 16, and that's probably roughly the ratio that they're going to go with going forward. I imagine Dalvin's going to get more rushing work just because Zach Wilson is so not good.
No.
He looked a little better, but it's all going to be short intermediate throws for him. And Garrett Wilson's not going to make that type of catch every time, where he basically slapped it to himself with his hand and caught it going down. Like,
that was a good catch.
It was a good catch. It was a horrible throw. He threw it off the wrong to the wrong shoulder.
It still counts.
Tough break.
Yeah. The other thing that I know the Jets defense is really, really good, but Josh Allen didn't look great last night.
That dude is a turnover machine.
He has a problem, and he's had it his whole damn career.
37 turnovers from week 1 of 2022 until, through yesterday. That's like 2 a game. And Brian Dable being gone has had a large negative effect on his play because Dable helped keep him kind of reined in. And if he doesn't fix that, the Bills will be competitive, but they're not going to win a ring that way.
No. I think the team from the AFC East that has to be coming out of this weekend the happiest is the Dolphins, right? I mean, they thought they were going to have to go against the Jets with Rodgers, and I mean, it was unfortunate, but they don't look to be a serious threat at this point. The Bills surely didn't look as good as what we thought they were going to. Granted, the Jets defense is legit, but the Dolphins put up 36 points out in San Diego, which I know was one of your guys' locks. The over, good call on the over, scoring 70. Could have gone way over on that.
That was my lock of the week.
Nice. Yeah. That was a fun game to watch too. There's a lot of points being scored. Felt like a college game.
Yeah. If you have Tyreek Hill, he pretty much won you your week this week. Overall, week 1 scoring was way, way down. I think it was the lowest scoring week in week 1 in like 20 years or something like that. So his 200-yard performance, I mean, it was just nuts. And while I don't think he's going to get 200 yards every week, obviously, as long as Tua stays healthy, that man is going to get fed.
Tua had a game too, 466 yards. He's on pace for what, 7,500 yards this year?
Yeah, he'll hit it. No, he was amazing. Miami had 16 explosive plays on offense. That's pass yards of 20 yards or more, runs like 10 yards or more. That's tied for second most in a decade. I kind of explosive plays, that percentage kind of reminds me, or equates to like slugging percentage in baseball. Like an event where only one play kind of raises the scoring expectation like immensely. I don't know. Got thinking today how things are the same, but Tua was awesome. Number 1's in yards per attempt, number 1 in yards gained per pass completion. Had a comeback, game-winning drive, didn't get sacked.
That's the big thing right there.
That
his offensive line showed up for him.
They got pressure. They had a 54% pressure rate, the Chargers did. You got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. You can't stop both of them. They just couldn't get them. It was amazing. Yeah. And they didn't have their left tackle. Armstead was out. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Isn't Brandon Staley supposed to be a defensive guy?
Yeah. You would think.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. That was rough. Eckler looked great.
Yeah, he did. That defense.
Joshua Kelly had some good run. He had 90 some odd yards on 16 carries.
Yeah. They ran the hell out of the ball.
He's definitely a waiver wire pickup.
I got my claim in.
Sure.
Well, sucks for you that you're not in last place.
I don't even know what waiver wire.
Remiss in last.
Oh, that's a shame. That's too bad. It could very well be me or Matt in a couple weeks.
But what it isn't right now is me.
But Tua kept Tyreek fed, and he was number 1 in scrimmage yards per touch this week at 19.5. Huge. He finishes wide receiver 1, obviously. He's just freaking unguardable.
I heard a really interesting stat. You guys may know this, but when Tua is the quarterback and Tyreek is on the Dolphins, obviously, he averages like 115 yards receiving a game. When it is a quarterback other than Tua, he averages 75 yards receiving a game. So Tyreek loves him some Tua, and Tua loves him some Tyreek. So keep working on that jujitsu, and just I mean, that was, some of that was ugly last year, seeing Tua, what he was going through. So
Oh yeah.
I think Tua has an opportunity to be a top 5 quarterback this year if he stays healthy. And we've talked about that. So that offense is primed to go.
From what I saw and read, they spent a lot of time in the offseason together. So, and Waddle.
Yeah, and that shows on the field last year and this year. Those are the only 2 people getting targeted in that offense with any kind of consistency.
Yeah.
And so if
Gesicki
you've
had
got
some stuff,
either
but then he
one,
left.
you're loving life right now, especially if you got the Tyreek Hill and Tua stack, which could have been very, very, very easy to do considering where Tua was getting drafted. You're loving life right now. You're a happy camper, probably leading your league in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I have him in one league. It's great.
I'm leading.
How is it, Remy? Is it great?
It's not that great.
Yeah.
Remy scored 79 points last week.
It was very good. Very good. I didn't score much over 100, but I scored more than you, and that's what matters.
That's what matters.
Yep.
That's it. By 1 or 100,
yep.
a victory is a victory. And as a matter of fact, why don't I just show right here our standing? You see Ray's piss jugs here up top. That would be me.
That's the
your soon-to-be champion.
Would you change your name?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I'm like, that's the wrong league.
Yes. So this is a name with a championship pedigree. I want everybody watching, which right now that is 0 people, but as people watch through afterwards, yes, it's a quality team. We've got Serenity now, Insanity later. Little bit above the middle. Somebody who eked out a win, got a little over 100 points. That's a respectable showing. And then way down here in a completely different area code, we've got Ramrod, who didn't even break 80 points.
I think it's really important to note that regardless of who I would have played this week, I would have lost.
Yes. And whoever I would have played, I would have been victorious. And that'll be a continuing theme as we go through the season.
We'll see.
Or as Kyle would say, well, whatever.
No, making fun of Ramy. All right. Lions Chiefs. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Lions Chiefs. I know it was 4 days ago, but who cares? Lions balled out, man.
They did.
That was a
and I know
that the Lions of before would lose, regardless of the wide receiver core for Kansas City dropping something that Detroit would have fucked. Can I say that now?
Yeah,
or in 13 minutes.
Sailed.
All right, fuck.
I mean,
Kansas City did not look good. They generated a minus 0.01 EPA per snap on offense, 8th worst mark in Holmes' 95 career start. So they've had worse games in EPA. He wasn't sacked. They teed off on him, but he passed. I think he dropped back 39.
Hey, Kyle, what is EPA?
That is expected points. No, hold on. Expected points per attempt. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But he didn't get no help from the receivers. They dropped 10% of his passes. That's almost triple their career average. He's had 17 previous games Mahomes has where his receivers caught or didn't catch, dropped 7% of those passes. He won all 17 of those games. But he also had,
So here's the thing. Even a few days out, I'm shitty about Mike Tirico wanting to put an asterisk on that game. The Detroit Lions went into Kansas City and won on banner night.
Right.
Period. The Chiefs got their rings, and then they got them slapped right back off their hands. You know why? Because Detroit was the better team that day. Period. End of discussion. I would have liked to have seen Gibbs get the ball a little bit more, but I also understand it's his first game in the NFL. But shit, when you run the ball 7 times and you break 6 tackles, you're doing something right. So fantasy owners out there, be patient. I got him on a team, and I understood that drafting him was not about week 1. I drafted him for, week 10,
12.
week 11, week 12. That's how
Yeah.
I actually got one of my teams. I've got Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara. So, again, it's not about week 1. I don't give a shit about the first 4 weeks. If I go 1-3, that's fine. If I go 3-1, that's fine. First 4 weeks are figuring out what your team is about, assessing your team, your strengths, your weaknesses, and then preparing to make any moves to address those. And then that's when you turn it on. Remy, you remember that league we were in together? I went like 1-3 or 1-4 and then didn't lose the rest of the
Ran the
year and
table.
wasn't invited back next year.
Yeah, because you're such a good winner.
Yeah.
Well,
He doesn't boast or gloat at all. He's very quiet about it. Very humble.
to be the
Very
man,
humble.
you got to beat the man.
Gibbs did average 6. That was a nice average, 6 yards a carry. And I think it was smarter the way they used him. I mean, like you said, it's his first game. They rode Monty, and he had a nice game too. He had 74 yards rushing. Overall, I think they had a really good game plan. They were going to control the ball on the ground and probably didn't score as much as they would have liked against that Kansas City defense. The Lions had a defensive touchdown. So it was a really good game. It was an entertaining game.
Rookie Brian Branch.
Yeah.
The pick 6.
Awesome.
Yeah. Kept Mahomes under control. But as you guys saw, the Chiefs signed Chris Jones to a 1-year deal yesterday. So they realized his importance after that week 1 loss and got him back in the house for the rest of the season. So
I don't.
With
and
him,
then you're a player that's doing that, and you're holding out, and you get a suite, you go to the game, you watch your team lose. Doesn't that kind of relight some fire in your belly? I'm like, all right, fuck this shit.
I mean, he went to the game. He was there to support his teammates.
Sure.
And it was time for Kansas City they essentially just ponied up some incentives. His base salary is the same. Speaking of incentives, the cat that had 3 picks last night for the Jets,
Whitehead.
Yes, he hit an incentive in game 1, $250,000.
That direct deposit better went in this morning, motherfuckers.
Yep. With Monty, it was kind of disappointing just how inefficient he was. He only averaged 3.5 yards a carry for a defense that was missing a few people. But in fantasy, volume is king, and he's going to continue to get a very good amount of volume, especially around the goal line. I'm looking for big things out of both him and Gibbs this year. ARSB looked to be damn near uncoverable. The dude is just so quick. He can make people miss in a phone booth, and he's got excellent hands. And dude's a first down machine. On 3rd down, you know where the ball is going, and Kansas City still couldn't stop it. Josh Reynolds stepped up 4 for 80, and he was sneaky productive last year too. He might be somebody who'd be useful as at least a flex play as we hit bye weeks here coming up until JMO gets back and kind of into the swing of things. So there's some talent on this Detroit team. It's going to be a fun year, and I'm still, I guess, getting used to having expectations, legitimate expectations.
Yeah, like optimism. What a crazy thing, right?
Laporta had a nice game too. It didn't blow anybody away, but I was surprised to hear his name used as much as it was. He had 5 grabs.
I know Campbell said that, expect more plays out of Gibbs soon, more touches soon. They're going to ease him in, and I think they're going to do the same thing with Laporta. They got some other tight ends in that room that's not horrible, but their names are escaping me right now. Not Zylstra.
Their names don't matter.
But anyway, one of those guys had a catch on Thursday. I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
What'd you think of Anthony Richardson's debut, Ramey?
I thought he played really well. Kept the
was
Colts
one
in
of
the
your
game.
aces.
Hey, and he had a nice game.
Yeah, sure.
He was 24-37. He had 223 yards passing, had a TD in the air, TD on the ground. He did have that one pick, but I think it's very encouraging what you saw. Granted, the Jacksonville defense is not going to blow anybody away, but I thought he played really well, considering that he had absolutely no support in the run game and probably one of the worst receiving cores in the league. It looks like Josh Downs is going to be somebody that's going to grow with him. Pittman had one nice catch. Alec Pierce looks like a guy that is going to do absolutely nothing. He gets talked up about his speed and his route running and things like that, and then he goes into a game and he what did he have? He didn't even have he had one catch for 5 yards. Great. Pittman had 8 for 97. So Pittman, when I say he had one catch, he had one long catch that I can remember off the top of my head. But I was talking to Matt. Kyle, you had stepped away before we went live, and it's like Andrew Luck all over again. Like Ballard came in at the end of Luck's career, who retired because he was just beat up all the time and didn't have support early in his career. And it's almost like a broken record. Like, get Jonathan Taylor in there. I don't care what you have to pay him. If you got to give him a few $1 million to come in, and now granted he's on the pup, so he can't come back until week 5, but there's no reason with the cap room that they have that they couldn't have thrown. Precedents be damned. Like, don't break the bank for him, but do what you did with Chris Jones and do what you did with Saquon, where you give him some incentives that can be easily be hit. Give him a couple extra $1 million to get his ass in there, because the way Jacksonville played that game, they played too deep, and it was really frustrating to see what that Jonathan Taylor could have done to make a difference in that game.
Yeah, Jacksonville's rush defense is suspect. One thing the Colts really need to be cognizant of, and you brought up Andrew Luck, the way he plays, the dude is going to take a beating. And granted, he's got the size and he's got the frame, but those hits add up. And they add up over time. And granted, this is down the road, but we saw how quickly somebody like Cam Newton went downhill. Just the culmination of all those hits. I did see, he completed a fair amount of his passes. I didn't see what his ADOT was. I can't imagine he was throwing the ball that far. At a stellar 23.4 QBR. But I don't really give two shits about QBR. ESPN won't release the formula, so this will be the last time I reference it. And even if they did release the formula, I'm not good enough at math to figure that shit out. But no, I mean, the future is bright. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looked really good. The Jaguars offense looked really good. I mean, they were kind of struggling the first 3 quarters, but they turned it on in that 4th quarter and pulled away. And I think if Trevor Lawrence continues to play like he did, him being a dark horse MVP candidate is not out of the question. I know I talked about that previously, but just looked really, really good. And ETN looked really good on the ground as well. So
he did. And you saw some tank too.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
But
what he had 7 carries for 13 yards, but I think he'll end up busting through. Trevor did look good. Completed 75% of his passes.
Yeah, jeez.
Threw a pick, got sacked a couple times. 75% is really, really damn good for a quarterback. Ridley.
We got our first viewer. What's up, Ventro?
Yo, hey, viewer. Welcome. Calvin Ridley. People were hyping him up. A lot of other people were talking that, I don't know. Had 11 targets, 8 catches over 100 yards and a touchdown. Looked good.
He had a nice first game back. Absolutely.
He looked good. And Zay Jones too. Looked good. And Christian Kirk, the receiving leader there last year, just kind of got
I mean, he's
there a little bit. He only had 3 targets.
He's 3rd at best, most likely 4th behind Zay Jones and Ridley and Evan Ingram. And you've also got Etienne, who's going to get targeted as well. So, $20 million a year for a slot receiver who is going to get targeted nowhere near the amount he got last year, but that was also out of necessity.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. Josh Allen had 3 sacks. He looked good.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
That Colts line did not.
No, one Josh Allen
I think-
did well
I
this
think
week.
we've talked.
One
I
Josh
think
Allen didn't fucking do well.
I think we've talked enough about the Colts.
All right, cool. How about hold on. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring
You're
this
loving
one
that
up.
phrase, aren't you?
I'm loving it. Matt's, picked Burrow to be the MVP and have a huge, huge year. He went to Cleveland in the sheets of rain, and he didn't look so good, Matt. Actually, he had his worst start as a pro, going 14 for 31 for only 82 yards. He had a minus 0.44 EPA per drop back. Just it's horrible. Second worst of the week 1. Daniel Jones was actually worse EPA.
Yeah, I mean,
Tim Shorts did a great fucking job. The DC in Cleveland. I hate that. I don't really like that guy because he was coached the Lions and he was kind of a prick. But he did a great job disguising coverages post snap. And I don't know if you saw, but several times they lined up Myles Garrett over the center. And it's some pretty damn good disruptions that way.
Yeah. Doing basketball moves before the ball was snapped.
I mean, few teams have a disruptor like Myles Garrett like that to do that, but it worked. They had 6 first downs all game. Ugh.
Yeah.
The weather was a factor, sure. I guess the best news for the Bengals is Kansas City and Buffalo lost too.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those games. Like, what are you going to learn from that? When you sit there and you watch the tape, you're not going to learn shit. You acknowledge it for what it was. You took one on the chin. Burrow, for whatever reason, has had a hell of a time beating the Browns. I think he's 1-5 against them. 1-6. It is what it is. That's something where you have a goldfish memory, and we're on to week 2.
Yeah.
That's a career worst performance. It is what it is. I think he and Chase and Higgins and Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, they're all going to be extra motivated next week. I don't remember offhand who they play. Let me look it up real quick here.
Baltimore.
This is what happens.
Baltimore at home. That's another toughie.
It is. You're going to see an extra motivated team come out there.
Well, they don't want to start 0-2 in the division.
Absolutely not.
That's
shit. Cincinnati might be my lock of the week next week. I guess people just have to tune in on Thursday and find out.
Nice little teaser there.
Ooh,
Speaking of teams that don't want to start 0-2, Kansas City goes to Jacksonville on Sunday, so that'll be a fun game to watch.
It will. Travis Kelce should be back, though. That dude is going to get fed. I mean, Mahomes come out and he said all the right things in the media. He said what he has to do as leader of the team and whatnot. But still, I'm sure that dude is thinking, I ain't throwing to any of these motherfuckers anymore. This ball is going to Kelce, and that's it.
And Pacheco and McKinnon, and that's it.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many grabs Pacheco had, honestly, because that wasn't really something he did a whole lot of last year.
No, until they worked on that. I thought that was just awesome because they're going to need it, and they knew that. They knew that. I don't want to, the Browns did a good job against the Bengals. I mean, struggles with the Bengals are their own, but Browns came out and did good. Deshaun looked all right, not too bad. Made some plays. Amari looked like their number 1 receiver. And Chubb
went over 100.
Yep, Chubb did his thing. So they're an interesting team, and that defense is they're real good too. The AFC North, Jesus, crazy. Well,
I almost wonder all the I guess lack of scoring we had here in week 1. I get it. The defenses are going to be ahead of the offenses, especially when it's almost like the preseason now, instead of getting teams ready for the regular season, it seems to be exclusively about just determining who's going to be on the 53. So if you know your spot is safe, maybe you get a series in, but you're not playing much, and it's taken these offenses a little bit longer to kind of get in sync and catch their stride. I get it, practice like you play, but there is no substitute for live game action.
Right.
Yeah. You got something?
Yeah, there were a lot of injuries this weekend too, and I know you're going to have injuries because it's football, but knowing how much OTAs and off-season work has been decreased, contact and in practices and things like that, I've always wondered how much that contributes to the slow starts teams have, and then also the injuries that you get. Because Matt, exactly what you said, there's no replication of game reps, and you can do that in practice if you're hitting all the time, but they're not doing that anymore. So I wonder if kind of taking those hits in the off season, taking those away, has contributed to an uptick in the injuries that you're seeing in early in the season.
It's
And
possible.
maybe it's just because I watch football
Don't-
more now than
don't
I did
forget
when I was younger.
They do a ton of work on their own in the off season, and with special coaches and things that they hire and stuff, trainers and things. And this ain't the football old where, they're going to sell insurance in the off season and eat fucking cheeseburgers every day. And training camp back in the day used to be to get in shape. Now players show up in shape.
Yep. There's always a few guys every year you hear about they're in the best shape of their life.
Yeah, for sure.
Right here, I'm ready for the season.
I want to talk the Rams Seahawks because I know in our division previews and some past episodes, none of us have been high on the Rams, and because they're pretty young. And how long can Matthew Stafford hang? And Cooper Kupp, and of course now he is on the pup list. Rams look good, surprising. They had a couple young receivers, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, both had 119 yards. Kind of balled out. Higbee didn't really get much. I think he only had like 3 or 4 catches or something. Looked good. Akers had a quiet day too. He had a touchdown, but he ran 22 times for 29 yards.
Yeah. Stafford had a big day, 330 yards with no cup. That was a surprising, especially in Seattle. I think you're going to look back at this game and it's probably going to be an outlier for the Rams. I think as the season goes on, their lack of depth is going to catch up with them. But I don't think Sean McVay came back to tank a season and try to get Caleb Williams or anything like that. I think the goal this season is to remain competitive, see what they've got going into next year when all that dead money falls off their cap. And they'll have a first-round pick for the first time in 260 years next year, unless they trade it away in the middle of the season. So I think it's a bit of a reset this year. And I mean, I was surprised by the outcome of the Seahawks game because I thought the Seahawks would be better coming out of the gate than what they were. Geno looked
like Geno.
Yeah.
112 yards. It was ugly.
Yeah.
They lost both their tackles that game too. Like that Kenneth Walker looked good. He was 12 for 52, and then I kind of had to abandon him, or the run, I should say. There towards the second half of the game, but with who was out for them, Jamal Adams was out for the Seahawks, and their corner, Witherspoon, their rookie, he was out.
Yeah,
the Rams just attacked Trey Brown and Michael Jackson constantly. I just can't believe Puka Nacua had 15 targets.
Something I was thinking about.
15. Pick him up on the waiver wire, folks. Throw a claim in. Drop fucking Curtis Samuel or somebody equally as crappy, and
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, other shittier ones. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, a thought I had on the way home, and I remember during the off season, or maybe it was beginning of preseason, where it come out in the media that the Rams were trying to trade Matthew Stafford, and now the Jets find themselves needing a quarterback in their win now window.
I heard his name too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a possibility. It's a tall task to change teams in season and have to learn a new playbook on the fly. But somebody who's been around as much as Stafford has, you give him a, for Christ's sakes, if Baker Mayfield could come in and win a game with the Rams, I'm sure Matthew Stafford could go to the Jet, just lean on the defense and turn around, hand the ball to Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall.
Yeah.
How long would he?
And then get the hell out of the way.
How long would he hold up behind that line, though?
Oh, no.
Longer than Aaron Rodgers. Mr. I'm going to get $18.5 million per snap this year.
Right.
Good work if you can get it.
Yeah.
Stafford did look good. He kind of looked like he was having the time of his life.
Yeah.
So, and he wasn't getting pressured. They only pressured him 20% of his snaps.
He got his ring. Do you think he'd really want to go to New York and play? Leave California, leave Los Angeles? I don't think I would.
I think they're happy there. I think his wife and his children are happy there, and I don't think that's going to happen. I would imagine he'd have to pay this no trade. I'm sure he has a no trade. I guess I don't know for sure, but he's a veteran. He should have one.
Yeah.
One
more game, just wanted to hit on real quick. Just the Cowboys' complete dismantling of the Giants. That shit was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I know I've been kind of high on Daniel Jones because of Brian Dable, but this is just another game where, you know what? We took it on the chin. We got our dicks knocked in the dirt. Again, what are you going to learn from it other than you suck? Daniel Jones is lucky and didn't turn the ball over 4 times. He still threw those 2 picks. Got me a whopping 2 fantasy points, which, every little bit counts. Luckily, I was victorious in the league that I have him in. But it's definitely no thanks to him. And that Dallas defense going up against the Jets next week.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my God. Couple stats from them was what? Yeah.
I was just going to say the under for Jets Cowboys may be my lock of the week.
Yeah, think about that one.
The Jets Cowboys defense might outscore the Jets offense.
Dude, they had a 69% pressure rate. I've never seen one that high. 69%.
Nice.
Unbelievable. I did a little funny. I found something on Twitter, and I, of course, can't give the guy credit. I did
X,
but he kind of X, whatever. They kind of compared Daniel Jones to a ham sandwich. Like, it's you're at the cafeteria, you're eating your ham sandwich. It's good. It's filling.
It's not $40 million good.
But then, until someone comes to lunch with a couple pieces of pizza, and then you're like, ugh, I'd rather have the pizza. Ham sandwich. But yeah, the Cowboys dismantled. And Dak didn't even have to have a big game. I don't even think he had over 130 yards.
He didn't have to. And the weather was terrible too. So, I mean, that contributed to it. Yeah. Dak only had 143 yards. But it was a monsoon. Tony Pollard had a nice game. Had 70 yards, did all right. 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Before we transition to a little college football, Kyle, didn't you have a story you wanted to tell?
We got Aces and Deuces to cover? Or we're doing that later?
We can do it whenever.
We got any live viewers?
No.
I'm at work today by myself, and it's the afternoon, and I have digestive issues, so I have problems, or I poop a lot, and I hit my vape, and it made me cough. And sure enough, folks, I shit my pants. Squirted out some liquid. I knew it was there too. It was there. God. It was, you could feel it. It was definitely. It wasn't one of those. Is it? It definitely was. I knew it right away.
It was a no doubter.
And so I'm working by myself, and I'm serving the public, so I have to. I like shit.
That's so one way to call it.
Yeah, I start walking to the back room so I can, get this problem under control. And I realized that I need to go out front and lock the door. So I'm walking like a penguin, kind of back out to the door, clenching more so nothing like moves. And yeah, that walk, I didn't make it. Started running down my. At that point, I was pretty fucking. At that point, I was pretty fucked. So yeah, that was fun. Underwear got ruined. Clean, yeah. Closed the store. Went home. I live close, mile away. Changed.
That's
I have-
amazing.
I have
Probably
one question, and then we can
Probably
move
only
on.
got like 14 minutes. Yeah.
Did you lay a towel down or anything in your car?
Did I lay a towel down? Yes, I have a
Just-
rug.
Just
Matt knows all about this rug. That's a funny
I do.
story. Oh,
that
save
sounds
it
like
for
a story.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Save
it
that
sounds
for
like a story
Thursday.
for another podcast.
Yeah. But so yeah, shit my pants. Shit my pants.
Yep.
I thought we were still sticking with NFL and going over aces and deuces and then finishing with college football. But I don't care.
Yeah.
It's 40. We're at 40 minutes. So one way or
Yeah.
another, let's do something.
Let's hit our aces and deuces real quick. I was 1 for 2 on my aces.
I was 3 for 4 in my picks. Anybody else?
Oh, so was I. I'll say Richardson had an ace worthy day. He had, so
Yeah,
depending on what you're looking at, somewhere between 20 and 23 fantasy points.
Yeah, no, that's a good game. He finished
my-
fucking QB. Well, shit, my list is
Depends
gone.
on who you're
Anyway,
looking at, but QB4, yeah. Mike Williams
Yeah.
did not have a game. He got a head injury, took him out for a little bit, but he still wasn't targeted a whole lot. He only had 5 targets. My deuces were on point. Daniel Jones and Drake London.
You couldn't have been
That's
any better.
No shit. No
Yeah.
shit. Excellent. Those are excellent picks.
Yeah, I may be retiring from this. It's a walk-off.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm going to create a spreadsheet and track this, and then we'll
Awesome.
see who was right most of the time and who was wrong most of the time.
Wait,
I hit.
we're
Oh, go ahead.
we're in the podcast business now, Kyle. We don't have to be accountable for our past choices.
Right.
Now we're going to track it because I want some bragging bullshit on here. Somebody
Oh.
can.
We only have to
Matt,
talk
go ahead.
about when we're right. Yeah.
So my aces, I hit on 1 or 2. Aaron Jones, he had, roughly 26 fantasy points, which is pretty good. My deuces, a swing and a miss was Stephon Diggs. He ended up with 26 points, 10 for over 100 and a touch. And then DeAndre Hopkins, he had like 7 for 67, 7 for 65, something like that. So not great, not awful. Better in a PPR than half, obviously, but I'll do better next time around. You know who doesn't need to do better next time around, because I don't think it's possible, is JJ McCarthy. That dude has been on fire. He has like 7 incompletions this season. Just something ridiculous.
Yeah. Playing really tough opponents too.
Hey,
All right,
I don't
my
give a
aces
shit
and
if they're
deuces. Did you
playing.
like college football or
Oh, I thought you already said yours. I'm sorry.
fuck no, I didn't.
Well, hold on. Let me
You
get
like-
you a fresh Tampax for your fanny. I can see you're getting upset.
Thanks. I'm a part of this too. Jesus. Aces and deuces. Kirk Cousins finished QB 10, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, a throw pick. Still lost the game because, as we said before, they were going to regress on 8 game-winning drives or comebacks. They didn't do that this week. Brian Robinson Jr. finished at RB 14. Led the backfield there. Antonio Gibson rushed the ball 3 times. He's finished RB 95. If that's possible. That's horrible. So I hit on those. Deuces, Gabe Davis. Didn't look good. 4 targets, 2 receptions, 32 yards. Finished as wide receiver 64. And the one I messed up on was your Michael Pittman Jr., who I assumed would be garbage because AR would not be able to get the ball to him.
And he did.
And he did. He had 11 targets. I grabbed 8 of them for 97 yards and a touchdown. I got him finishing as wide receiver 7 last week. So it's encouraging to see for the Colts, that stuff. So I thought Tyson Campbell was going to shut him down in coverage, and he was kind of all over the field. Campbell did have the pick on AR, though. So he did do some damage, but not against Pittman. But
yep.
And yeah, my lock of the week was take the over in the Dolphins Chargers. Maybe we already talked about this. I don't know. I can't remember.
I mentioned it
early
you did.
when
we were talking about the game. Yeah. My
it was
lock
like
hit too.
Yep, your lock hit
Sorry.
too. Which one was that one?
I took Jags -5. It actually was 4 by the time the game started, and it's But either way,
there you go.
exactly as I said, the prognostication was correct. Jags by 10.
You did
Yeah.
some good
I missed mine.
prognosticating this week, except for your fantasy lineup. I don't know what you're
That's
thinking
true.
there, but
Yeah. When my money's involved, I'm much more focused.
Matt, what was your lock again? I can't remember.
I had the Commies -7 against Arizona at home.
That's right. That should have
They
been a
won by
lock. Even
4.
we both told Brandon that.
Yep.
It should have been.
Sam Howell's a scrub, though.
Yeah, Jesus, it was interesting. But JJ McCarthy,
Yeah,
Michigan,
dude's on fire.
he's the
doing
number
really
one
well.
rated offensive grade for quarterbacks on PFF through the first 2 weeks.
Who do they have this week?
Bowling Green.
Green.
Ooh,
Shouldn't be much of a challenge for that team from somewhere in Iowa. No, Ohio,
Kentucky.
I should say.
Ohio.
Oh,
Is it?
I think it's Ohio.
There is a Bowling Green, Kentucky, but I
There is a
believe
there is, but
Yeah.
I think
this is Ohio. They're a MAC school, aren't they?
Yep,
I believe
they
it's
sure
Ohio.
are.
Get some
It's a
MAC
regional
in.
rivalry.
Right.
Wouldn't it be a lot more fun if Notre Dame and Michigan were playing this week, though?
Yeah, it sure would.
Sure would.
That way
Sure.
Michigan could, shut up those Notre Dame fans.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking
we'll
they
see.
got something this year. Ain't got shit.
I
Need you
think
to beat Ohio, though.
I think they got lucky that Tommy Rees ran his ass down to Alabama because the Notre Dame offense is looking a lot better than it has in the past years. And I know Sam Hartman has something to do with that, but the Alabama offense is not looking great. And it looks like it might be a 1-year stop for old Tommy in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, Bama's not looking so hot.
No,
That's
they
a
are
shame.
not.
And Texas was so damn aggressive that game. I mean,
They were-
hats off to them.
Their
Quinn
line
Ewers
play
was
amazing.
slinging it.
And it's what they looked like before he got hurt in that game last year. They were hanging
Yeah.
right with Alabama last year. Ewers was lighting it up, and he unfortunately got hurt. This year they finished the job and really kind of put it to Alabama a little bit, especially in the fourth quarter. There they had 21 fourth quarter points, something like that.
It was a close game, and they just took over.
Yeah. So, Matt, I'm there with you with one of my college football playoff teams already chalking up a loss, but hey, it's better to lose early than to lose late. So,
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see a little bit of variety in the top 4 with Florida State and Texas up there.
mhm.
Yep.
Usually you come into the season and it's some combination of Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio, and one other team. Get a little bit more representation.
Yeah.
Ohio.
Mhm.
Go blue. I think we touched on Travis Hunter last week, but
Looking
Jesus,
good again.
he played both ways again. He's played 274 snaps in 2 games.
That's a lot.
Just amazing, and it's pretty much what 158 on offense and 142 on defense, and 9 on special teams.
Why would you play him up? I mean, I don't think it's sustainable. I hope
It's
he doesn't get. I hope he doesn't get hurt. But I compared him to Charles Woodson last week when we were talking, and Charles Woodson didn't play nearly that many snaps on offense.
No.
They just put him in to highlight him for the Heisman.
Yeah, they had a few packages for him, but that's it.
Yeah. So, but
It's just,
Colorado's on top of the world.
You got the right coach if you're trying to coach that you're trying to be a two-way player.
Yeah, but even he didn't do that. I don't know.
When he was on the Cowboys in like 96, he had 475 receiving yards, which was number 2 on the team behind Mike Irvin. Again, that was the 90s. That's not bad.
No, it's not.
That's not bad, but he was just so much more valuable as a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
Always pays to have one of those.
Absolutely.
Just amazing.
Every pregame show in their Their mother is out in Colorado this week. That's the Big Noon Kickoff. I think is just setting up camp and gonna be there for as long as they can ride that.
Your mom's out there?
No, your
Yeah.
mom is.
No,
Yeah.
she's making fried chicken in Colorado.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
great. Yeah, it tastes better in the thin air.
I have no idea. Never been there.
Mhm. I just hope you don't choke on that chicken, Kyle. I'd hate for you to shit your pants again.
That's true. That's true. And run down the back of my thigh.
What'd you do with the pants? Did you destroy them?
No,
I think he did that at work.
I want yeah, you got a point there. Touche. I took them, I wore them home and then washed them quickly, like under the sink, hot water, and they're like hanging here, and they will be washed on laundry day.
So you're not going to throw them out?
Hold on.
What about the underwear? Are you going to try and salvage them too?
The underwear look all right. I washed those out and rinsed them, and they're also hanging here. Will be washed on laundry day.
It's not an immediate wash for that. I feel like if you're not going to throw them away, it's an immediate wash. You got to put those in.
So, I live in an apartment and I don't have in-apartment laundry, and I just not. Also, I had to get on here, and the laundry room closes at like 8:30 or some shit for noise or something, whatever. So, like, I'm pretty much fucked.
And on that note, I want to thank.
That'd be good. I know how to wash clothes. I know how to treat clothes and pre-treat. I'm a pre-treater.
Good for you, buddy. Good for you.
Anyway,
be sure to pre in those pants.
Yeah. We're going to wrap things up for now. Appreciate the one person who just joined as we get ready to end.
Yes. And all the people that will, all the tens of people that will watch it, tomorrow or the next.
We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes.
Yes. We'll be back in a couple nights, Thursday. Be previewing week 2 in the fantasy. Yep, same 7:00 on Thursday, Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking forward to previewing week 2. We'll have our Aces and Deuces picks and our sports betting lock of the week for you to check out as well. I kind of like this. This is much better, and it's much easier on that. The basement for
that's not
extra editing, but still,
that's not the main consideration.
Yeah,
and that's a topic for another time. So thanks for watching, everybody. We will talk to you next time.
All right.